What is up? What is going on, everybody? I am back with the Mariners post-game show. Back in my usual setup here, which I'm a little more comfortable sitting in and doing the show in. So we'll dive into everything here. The Mariners defeat the Rockies 1-0. They sweep the Rockies. They're back at 500. And hopefully for this team, they don't see the under 500 mark the rest of the season. So a real nice win for the guys today. Just a couple guys to really talk about on this one today. It wasn't a necessarily a team effort out there, I don't know, for lack of a better term. First guy I talked about is Luis Castillo. I thought he was going to do it. I really did. Luis Castillo goes 7 innings, 2 hits, no walks, 9 strikeouts, was perfect through 6, gave up a kind of a semi-bloop to Jurickson Profar, an infield hit to Chris Bryant, ended up getting out of the 7th. Luis was just fantastic. I know the Rockies certainly aren't the best team in the league, but anytime you're perfect, you're doing something right. And Luis Castillo has just been phenomenal this year. His ERA sits at .73. He gets the W today. He's 2-0, 26 strikeouts, 4 walks. I said before the season, I think Luis Castillo, I'm biased. Julio is my pick for MVP. Luis is my pick for the Cy Young. Now, you know, I think there's a lot of other great players out there, but Luis Castillo is certainly off to a great start for that Cy Young campaign. He has been absolutely phenomenal this season. And, yeah, I mean, a perfect game through 6 innings. And, you know, in a game when it's a shame the Mariners couldn't have put up some more runs in this one for Luis, because I think, and I don't know, you know, but I imagine it's got to be harder to protect a perfect game when it's 1-0. Because not only are you trying to stay perfect, but you got to win the ball game. And that was the thing. Profar gets that base hit, and right after that, I'm like, okay, like, you know, dang, that stinks, but like, Mariners got a ball game to win. They need to find a way to get this W here, because if you lose this one, you're back under 500, and tomorrow, you know, you got Corbin Burns is on the mound for the Brewers. So, and again, like I said, I don't panic about things in April, but you want to get this W and get back to 500. Excuse me. So, and then Bryant gets the infield hit, and, you know, like I said, the priority's got to be the W. That's first. And love no-hitters, love perfect games, love hitting for the cycle. Now, obviously, if you throw a perfect game and no-hitter, you generally win. Perfect game, you obviously do. So, you know, I'm all for it. But the first goal is to get the W. So it's got to be tough in those 1-0 games, because Luis is going in there thinking, okay, I know I've got this perfect game, but I got to get my team the win too. So I can't get too just focused on my results. You know, and again, like a perfect game would have won the Mariners the game, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. It's double fold in that situation. Whereas we're up 8-9-0, you know, you're a little more loose. Like, you feel like the game is pretty much in hand, and you're not as worried like, hey, if I leave this one up by accident in a 3-ball count and they hit it out, so be it. You know, it is what it is. 1-0, you know, one pitch and the game can change. And in that 7th inning, he ended up striking out Charlie Blackmon, CJ Cron grounded out, and then McMahon hit a little liner. JP didn't have to jump too much, had to go up and get it. You know, you never know. That gets over his head. Rockies could have won this game. So Luis was fabulous. Justin Topo was good in relief. And how about that catch Jared Kelenic made in the 8th inning on, who was it, the Rockies catcher? Diaz came in to pinch hit, and he sent a little liner. Off the bat, I was like, that's in there. This game is tied. And Jared Kelenic with one of the catches of the year, all-out dive to get that ball. Just a tremendous, tremendous really a game from Jared Kelenic, and I'll get into that more on the offensive side too. But that defensive play saved the game for the Mariners. Just tremendous, tremendous defense. Kelenic, I talked about before the season. My light continues to go down there. I did my season preview for the Mariners. I talked about what they were looking to get from Jared Kelenic. And I said, listen, if Jared Kelenic even hits like 190, you know, and isn't very good offensively, he's still going to be more valuable than Jesse Winker. Because remember, Jesse Winker was not good offensively, and he was not a good defensive player either. Jared Kelenic, even at his worst last year, was a good defensive outfielder. So, you know, no matter what, they were going to get an upgrade there. So this Mariners defense has taken, you know, in my opinion, a step forward this year as well. So just a tremendous catch from Jared Kelenic. And good timing with Kelenic in right field today, Teoscar getting the day off. I don't think Teoscar Hernandez makes that catch. I don't. I think that drops in, and this game is 1-1. So, you know, a big reason why defense matters. It does in baseball. It is a big part of it. And right there, I don't know if any other outfielder, I'll never count out Julio for making a catch, but I don't know if anybody else in the Mariners makes that catch outside of, you know, the Ichiros and the Kelenics the Franklin Gutierrez's and the Julio Rodriguez's of the world. Before I keep going, if you like the videos, hit the like button, smash it for me, helps me out. Thank you so much to everybody that has. I do have some new subscribers. My Friday night video blew up a little bit. Again, blew up for my standards, not for other people's standards. So I do appreciate all the new subscribers. Hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. So Topa, nice inning. It's amazing how this team went from, you know, we knew it was going to be Munoz, Sewald, Castillo, Brash, you know, at the beginning of the year, Penn Murphy, and now it's Justin Topa, who's kind of become the 8th inning guy after just coming up, and he's done tremendous. Now, you know, Andres Munoz is out, and hopefully when he gets back, he'll kind of resume that role. But I think he's even kind of taken over for Brash. Brash seems to be more used when it's bases loaded and an out, and they need the big strikeout. Scott's going to Brash. Brash was getting up there in that 7th inning. I think if Castillo ran a little more trouble, it would have been Brash's. But I think with Brash having some command issues, you know, not terrible, but we know that sometimes he can lose the strike zone a little bit. Topa has not had that problem. I think when the inning is clean, Scott is going to Justin Topa to start it. And Paul Sewald strikes out the side in the 9th inning. There were some worries about Paul in the spring. He had a rough spring. He had a rough spring last year. He has been tremendous again to start the year. Can't say enough about the job Paul Sewald continues to do. Let's move on to the bats. Not much to talk about. The Mariners 1 run, 4 hits. They did work 5 walks. I thought the Rockies starter, Davis, I forgot the first name, was it Hunter Davis? Noah Davis. Where did I get Hunter from? I don't know. Well, Noah Davis pitched pretty well. I didn't think he was amazing. He went 5 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. He did a real nice job painting the corners. And the home plate umpire today, who was Brock Ballou, I don't know much about him. That's a name I haven't heard before as an umpire, was really giving those corners too. So, and like I said, to Davis's credit, he worked them, and he did get a lot of corner calls. I thought he gave some hard contact early, but then settled in. He had some double plays turned behind him. Again, I don't think he was amazing. I don't, and I'm not saying that being biased or anything. I thought he, normally the way he pitched, I thought that was more a start that you'd see a guy give up a couple runs. Now, to his credit, he battled. He was making a spot start, so and it was his first major league start. So credit to him, he got the job done. If that was a guy making a spot start for the Mariners, I would be ecstatic about it. I was impressed with Tommy Malone on Friday making a spot start. Julio was 0 for 4. A couple strikeouts. Rough game for Julio. Grounded into a double play as well with a runner at third and less than 2 outs. I don't remember what inning it was in. Julio seems to be pressing a little bit. It'd be really great if we get Julio and Kelenic like mashing together. That would be ideal. But, you know, the baseball gods just don't want the Mariners to have that. So Julio's in a little bit of a slump. Not anything terrible. They got a bases clearing triple yesterday. I'm not worried or anything. But it'd be nice to get Julio going. Julio's one of those guys due for kind of a 6, 7, 8 hit series coming up. So maybe you can get that against Milwaukee. Ty was 0 for 2. Did walk twice. Gino was 1 for 4. Cal was 0 for 3 with a walk. Teoscar Hernandez had a rough game. He was 0 for 3. He left some guys on base in some of his at-bats. Jared Kelenic was 1 for 2 with an RBI single and a walk, and off a tough lefty in Brad Hand, who has made a career in the big leagues. Hand has been in the big leagues for, that's one of those names I feel like I've seen every year I've been watching baseball. Not quite that. He's been in the league for 12 years. I've been watching baseball for 30, but he's been around forever. If you're a lefty, you can get guys out. You can have a nice long career. So if you've got kids that play baseball, make him be a lefty reliever. It stinks now because now you have to face 3 batters. Back in the day, man, you guys remember Mike Myers, the big submarine pitcher? Those guys pitched forever. Their goal was to get Barry Bonds out and stuff like that, but I digress a little bit. But Jared Kelenic gets a line drive base hit off of Hand, drives in a run, had a nice walk, too, earlier in the game when I think he was 2-2 in the count, took a couple pitches inside. So on a day when the bats were not very strong, Jared Kelenic, definitely the MVP of the offense today. And not just the fact that he got the base hit in the walk, coming up in that clutch situation, not letting the moment get too big for him, and against a lefty as well. So I think Jared Kelenic has definitely arrived to be playing every day. A.J. Pollock was 0 for 3. It'd be nice if he could start hitting lefties. I know Davis, the starter, was not a left-handed pitcher. Pollock had an at-bat after Kelenic's against Hand. Would have been nice if he could have driven in a run to kind of give the Mariners a little cushion in this game. He did have, in the 4th, 5th inning, I think it was the 5th, a liner down the line that Dave Sims got very excited about. But unfortunately, it went foul. It was foul by a little bit. I think Sims just missed it a little bit. But that would have been a nice at-bat for Pollock. Would have scored Kelenic. Well, let's also talk about going back to Jared Kelenic, his base running today. Stole second, heads up, got to third. I think that was that same inning where Pollock ended up striking out in the at-bat, and they stranded Kelenic at third with nobody out. But also some heads-up base running from Jared Kelenic. He has been good in the field. He's been good at the plate, in hitting and good vision, and he has been a good base runner as well. So can't say enough good things about Jared Kelenic. Colton Wong was 1 for 3. Good to see him get a hit. He had a runner at third with less than 2 outs and couldn't get the runner in. That was frustrating. But at this point, I'm kind of just look for anything positive we can get out of Colton Wong. JP was 1 for 2 with a walk. You know, listen, JP came in today with, I think, a WRC plus of 136. Somewhere in that, better than a lot of shortstops out there. JP's been okay. Of all the guys going right now, JP is kind of the least of my worries right now. He's still playing a good defense. If you have a Gold Glove caliber shortstop that's giving you a WRC plus of 136, I don't necessarily think that's where JP is going to end the season. But anything 110 and up, sign me up. Sign me up 100%. And JP is doing better so far. Again, we're at April 16th here than a lot of the big-name free agents that people were desperate for the Mariners to go after. Listen, I don't think JP is necessarily going to be better than them this year. But some of those contracts, you know, a lot of these guys like Bogart signed 13-year deals, and I can tell you in a few years you're not going to want those guys on the roster much anymore. But so nice game for JP. The MVP for today's got to be Luis Castillo. I mean, I'd love to give it to Kelenic, but I think you got to give it to Luis Castillo. Yeah, the Mariners win this one 1-0. Listen, you know, it's nice to get back to 500. The Mariners can kind of reset themselves, I think, a little bit now. You know, no off day tomorrow. The Brewers come in. Certainly going to be a much more difficult task than the Rockies. The Rockies are not a very good baseball team, but the Mariners did what you do against teams that aren't very good. They beat them and they outscored them by 10 runs in the series. So, you know, the Mariners took care of business here. Today was maybe a little bit more stressful than I think it needed to be, but it doesn't matter. At the end, the old saying in golf is there's no pictures on scorecards. Same thing for baseball. There's no pictures in the box scores. The Mariners get a win. They're back to 8-8. And it's like I said, it was a nice win that I really think they did need, because tomorrow, I know Corbin Burns is off to a slow start this year, but you've got Corbin Burns coming in against Chris Flexen. Mariners certainly are going to be the underdogs, at least in terms of the pitching matchup there. So you didn't want to end up dropping this one and then, you know, possibly dropping it on, and you're back to 7-10 and you undo that series win. So nice win for the M's. Like I said, hopefully we don't see them below 500 again this year. And just keep going on. Season starts now, back to 500. Some tough stretch in the beginning for the M's, losing 5 out of the first 7, but they are 6-3 since then. They've won 4 in a row now, so this team is starting to play some pretty good baseball here. So good to see. Nice team win for the Mariners, and a win that we talked about how they would win games before the season. They were going to be relying on the run prevention and some timely hitting. A good example of that today. I'll be back tomorrow. Should have a series preview up tomorrow morning, maybe tonight. I might have that up tonight. Series preview against the Brewers. And then we'll obviously have the post game. I'm going to go live for a game soon. I promise I will do a play-by-play on one of them. You know, just so you guys know, I've married 3 kids, so it's hard for me to find 3 hours, you know, to just sit and talk to a camera without being, you know, interrupted. So it's not easy for me to hop on and do lives, and that's, you know, just so you guys know, that's one of the reasons why I just haven't been able to do it. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I will see you guys next time. And as always, go M's. Peace.